We have undergone a lot of change in the last 10 years. In the early 90s, the EPA passed what is called Subtitle D rules and regulations for municipal solid waste. We adopted those rules in Wyoming, and we run this program, the EPA's program here in Wyoming. Those rules and regulations required groundwater monitoring. And over the years now, we're seeing that virtually all of our municipal landfills that were constructed without liners to catch that leachate are leaking. So we're trying to deal with how we address the pollution we've already caused and how we prevent it in the future. And the way we're going about doing that is to line more landfills. We estimate probably a 10-year window where we'll be seeing these landfills slowly closing and moving to regional approaches. We'll probably go from about 51 landfills down to probably 20.
Been here for a long time. Actually, my father was the director of solid waste for about 48 years. And when he retired, I actually got the position, and I've been here for about 36 years. So some of the issues that I saw back in the earlier 80s and stuff was our landfill was filling up. And my first question to my dad was, why aren't we recycling? Since he retired and left, we've changed things 100%. We started our yard waste program where we were recycling grass, tree limbs, anything that can be made into a product. That's what we do out there. And my goal again is to divert as much as possible, make sure it gets reused again, and make it as affordable to the public so they can just come and pick it up from our sites where we make our compost and that type of material.
The basic modern engineered landfill now has some kind of a compacted clay layer on the bottom, 2 feet generally of clay that is compacted, very dense, and does not allow moisture to go through very well. Then on top of that, we put a plastic layer, liner layer. That adds some redundancy to the system, so if there are any inadvertent punctures or problems with the plastic liner, that underlayer also helps in it. The two of them together keep leachate from leaking out the bottom of the landfill. Then on top of that, we put usually a gravel layer with collection pipes that will run that leachate into central sumps where it can be pumped out and removed, taken to leachate collection ponds or to the local wastewater treatment plants to be treated to remove all the contaminants that are in that leachate. So we're designing our landfills to catch that stuff and get rid of it before it pollutes groundwater.
The Cheyenne landfill was the first landfill to line its landfill. We did it because Subtitle D actually said, hey, you have to do this. Back in 2003, we started lining. So we ended up putting pumps into our new cells where we could collect all this fluid, and we actually put meters on it, so we knew what kind of how much fluid were we really pulling out of the landfill. We really didn't know. So we built ponds to collect that water. And our ponds are actually electronically tested. Every 4 years they have to be tested to see if there's any leaks.
Unfortunately, the local governments that operated these small landfills did not set aside money to close and cap their landfills. And those costs, just for installing the cap alone, are in the neighborhood of $100,000 an acre. And some of these small communities have 10 to 20 acres or more of garbage buried that needs to have final cover put on the top to protect groundwater, and they just don't have the money to do that. That's why we have new programs sponsored by the legislature to provide financial assistance to small towns to help them do that.